The crisp autumn air at the Harlan family's secluded cabin on the shores of Mirror Lake carried the sharp tang of evergreens, and an undercurrent of unease that only I seemed to notice. To the others it was just the scent of fresh wilderness, and the faint char from the barbecue pit, now cold and forgotten. I perched on a weathered Adirondack chair on the deck, a bit apart from the main gathering, my eyes fixed on my daughter, Sophia. She flitted about like a shadow in their world, serving premium bourbon to her husband, Ethan, and his domineering father, Victor. Her chuckles rang out too forced, too brittle, echoing the anxiety of someone forever chasing approval from those who doled it out like scraps. Even after years of this charade, Sophia still bent over backward to earn their regard from a clan that prized only their own reflections. Their sprawling retreat screamed old money, a monolithic timber lodge with towering glass panes that gazed out at Mirror Lake's glassy expanse like unblinking sentinels. The grounds were impeccably manicured, not a weed daring to intrude, every inch engineered for show rather than solace. The sunlight here felt clinical, illuminating the water's mirror-like surface and the polished gleam of luxury vehicles parked at the entrance, but offering no real comfort. I only visited for Sophia's sake. She'd coax me each time, "Mom, come on, they want the full family there. It means so much." Deep down, I knew it meant everything to her, a desperate bid to forge the solid family unit she craved. But watching Victor's smug grin and Ethan's perpetual sneer, I saw only a polished veneer masking decay. Victor and Ethan had been hitting the bottle hard, their polite facades cracking into raw bluster. Their voices boomed, gestures grew wild, exuding the arrogance of men who believed themselves untouchable rulers of their domain. Sophia was merely another trophy in their display case.
"Why's our delicate urban flower all wrapped up like that?" Victor bellowed, his gaze pinning Sophia like a specimen. She wore a heavy wool sweater and sturdy pants against the chill gusts rolling off the lake. "Scared of a little nip in the air, princess?" Sophia offered a shaky smile. "It's just brisk out here, Mr. Harlan." "Brisk?" Ethan mocked, aping his father's tone. "In my time, women dove into these waters year-round. Built character. Not like this pampered lot today." A chill unrelated to the wind coiled in my gut. This banter felt loaded, like honing a blade with deliberate strokes. "Leave her be," I murmured, firm enough to carry. Ethan whipped around, eyes glinting with spite. He despised my meddling, viewing me as some doting relic. "Margaret Ellis, relax. We're just messing around, aren't we, love?" He shot Sophia a conspiratorial wink. She bobbed her head, mustering another grin. "Yeah, Mom, all good." But it wasn't. I caught the flicker they shared, hungry, scheming, the glance of hunters circling prey. "Time to see if you've got spine," Victor announced abruptly, heaving himself up. His bulk threw a long shadow. "Ethan, lend a hand. Let's march our city slicker to the edge for a quick splash." "What on earth?" I surged to my feet, pulse racing like a cornered animal's. "Victor, this isn't amusing. Cut it out." They paid me no mind. They seized Sophia's elbows. She yelped in startled protest, still half convinced it was playful roughhousing. "Ethan, stop." "Dad, release me," she protested, wriggling, her protest dissolving into uneasy laughter to keep the peace. They hauled her over the pristine grass to the rickety dock extending into the inky, frigid depths. I scrambled after. "Halt this instant. You're intoxicated, you have no idea the danger." To them, I was invisible, a nagging insect. At the dock's end, over the abyss, Ethan growled, "Prove your mettle, flower girl." "No, please, I don't want," Sophia's plea cracked with real terror now. I lunged to yank Ethan back, but he elbowed me aside. I staggered, nearly tumbling. With a final derisive chuckle, they shoved her in. She vanished in a heavy splash, clothes dragging her down, leaving only spreading waves and fleeting bubbles. The quiet that followed thundered in my ears, 1 beat, 2, 3, until their guffaws shattered it, as if they'd staged a farce. That'll perk her right up, Victor chortled, dabbing at mirthful eyes. Sophia didn't break the surface. I froze, transfixed by the void. My cry lodged in my chest until she bobbed up briefly, face ashen, a crimson streak trickling from her brow, mingling dark with the water. Her gaze was vacant, lost, no cries, no flailing, just a hollow stare before she slackened and submerged again. My wail erupted then, primal and raw, ripping from my core. Help! She's sinking, she's struck something. Ethan and Victor lingered on the bank, unmoved. Ease up, Margaret Ellis, Ethan dismissed with a lazy wave. Quit the theatrics. She swims fine. Enough hysterics, Victor piled on, pivoting toward their sleek sedan. She'll haul herself out. A chill won't kill her. I gaped as they sauntered off, abandoning her to the cold. You're leaving? She's in peril, turn back. Doors thudded, the engine growled alive. Ethan leaned out, smirking. Don't sour the night, in-law. Catch you later. Tires crunched gravel, fading into the dusk, leaving only the water's murmur and my fracturing sobs echoing over the indifferent lake. The scream died in my throat, morphing into a frozen vice squeezing my breath. Panic sharpened into resolve, a steely void blooming within. Faintly, I caught the hum of an outboard motor. Beyond the cattails, perhaps 50 yards out, a lone rower in a weathered poncho guided a slim craft. A local angler, no doubt. I didn't call out, words failed. I merely extended an arm, jabbing toward the vanishing ripples. He paused, squinting, then read the desperation in my rigid form. Wheeling the boat, he gunned it toward the dock, wake foaming. What went down? He barked on arrival, features etched by sun and wind. I jabbed at the water again, nodding mutely. No more queries, he killed the motor, snatched a gaff, and scanned the murk. His actions were expert, assured, he knew these waters intimately. I, seasoned by life's blows, felt utterly powerless, a fledgling in the storm. The gaff snagged her sweater, a pale blur flickered below. He strained, teetering on the gunwale, to drag her aboard. Her skin was pallid, unmoving. The frost in me splintered, not thawing but fracturing into lethal edges. I fumbled my phone, digits numb but insistent on 911. Emergency services, lakeside cabin in the Whispering Pines enclave, I relayed steadily to the dispatcher, pinpointing our spot. My tone was robotic, detached, as the rower commenced rescue breaths in his vessel while I relayed details from the dock. Memories assaulted me, Sophia at 4, sniffling over a bruised shin in my lap, her kindergarten pride with a fistful of daisies, prom night spins in a modest gown, eyes alight, the wedding altar, gazing at Ethan with blind trust. I'd yearned to warn her then, don't, darling, they'll shatter you, but bit my tongue for her fleeting bliss. I'd endured their barbs, feigned smiles at their table, deeming it my quiet offering for her union. How naive. Sirens pierced the twilight, EMTs swarmed with a gurney, hooking Sophia to devices, shrouding her in thermal wraps. Fragments of their chatter pierced, faint vitals, profound chill, cranial injury. They moved as one, efficient and urgent. The rower fidgeted with his hat nearby, our eyes met in silent gratitude. He retreated to his boat without a word. As they loaded her, ambulance lights strobing on the lake, I knew the old me, meek mother, overlooked retiree from the archives, had perished with that plunge, mocked by kin. I dialed again, fingers now quivering with icy fury, not shock. Scrolling contacts, I landed on Samuel. Untouched in 15 years, since his exposé toppled a corrupt tycoon and exiled him from journalism's elite. We'd clashed fiercely, his ferocity unnerved me. But now, it was precisely the weapon I required. The line trilled endlessly, I braced for voicemail, but his gravelly timbre answered, yeah. Samuel, it's Margaret. My whisper was for my ears alone, medics bustled nearby. A weighted pause. He didn't probe, he never did. Talk to me, sis. I eyed the tire tracks vanishing down the drive. They'd be en route to their urban lair by now, tunes blaring, toasting their jest. Oblivious to the fissures I'd just cracked in their fortress. They're bound for home, I breathed. Unleash your specialty. No response needed, I disconnected. The die was cast, no turning back. Ambulance doors sealed, wails rose as it tore away with my girl. I lingered by the shore in gathering shadows, fear absent, replaced by a chilling serenity, the poise of one who's fired the shot. A rideshare arrived promptly, a battered sedan reeking of exhaust and pine spray. The driver, grizzled with a salt and pepper beard, eyed me warily in the mirror, mud-streaked attire, face a pallid slate. He ventured small talk, rough day. But I stared ahead, words evaporated with the waves. En route to the regional medical center, city lights blurred past unseen. My mind replayed their arrival, the sedan gliding through wrought iron gates to their palatial estate, Victor alighting with patriarchal swagger, Ethan trailing in boozy haze. Into the echoing hall, scented with leather and affluence, footsteps resounding. No qualms, Sophia was resilient, a swimmer. The dunk? Harmless fun. And I? The perennial alarmist, soon soothed by her placations, Mom, they were joking, it's fine. I pictured Ethan splashing more bourbon, cubes tinkling like mocking chimes. Victor flicking on the wall-sized display to business feeds, graphs, pundits, power plays. The lakeside folly. A blip erased by entitlement. They transcended accountability. Then the landline shrilled, their official line for gravitas. Victor snatched it, expression souring from boredom to vexation. Which facility? Critical care. Ridiculous. He grunted affirmations, then crashed the receiver. Damnation to Ethan. Your wife's in the ER. Looks like that old bat summoned the cavalry. She overplayed the victim bit. Ethan scowled, evening disrupted. Sobriety's edge brought a throbbing ire. He dialed Sophia's line, vibrating in my pocket amid the sterile chill of the ER wait. Screen glowed, darling. Bitter jest. I let it ring twice, then answered. Hello, Ethan's drawl, laced with impatience, no contrition. Darling, you there? What's your mom's game this time? They rattled Dad with calls. I let silence stretch, forcing his bluster. Darling? Answer me. Don't pout, we got rowdy, that's all. She survived, I intoned, even as the lake's calm. Dead air. Margaret? Where's Sophia? Hand her over. I need to. Don't approach. Click. I perched on unforgiving plastic, absorbing the antiseptic haze and distant moans. Hours dragged, a weary resident emerged. Grave but holding, contusion, frostbite effects, fluid in lungs. She'll pull through. No elation, only validation, my path was just. 5 minutes granted, she lay frail amid tubes, swathed in a vast bed, head turbaned with gauze-spotting rust. I regarded her, affection dormant beneath primal safeguard. Back in the hall, a aide summoned, Ms. Ellis. Package for you. Not flowers, a lavish spray of pale orchids, their cloying perfume evoking memorials. A cream card nestled within. I extracted it, elegant script on linen stock. Beloved, don't let maternal antics dim our spark. No remorse, a gauntlet. They dismissed it as my spectacle, still scripting from on high. Unaware I'd rewritten their tale, assigning them villainy. Dispose of those, I told the aide, gesturing. Allergy risk for H. She blinked at the opulence, then me, pity mingling with bewilderment, grief's madness, perhaps. She complied, the corridor dulled further sans that glaring white. I claimed a vinyl seat by ICU through the night, sleepless, plodding amid the door's sterile gleam. No pleas or tears, strategy. Samuel was in motion, my cue had unchained his pursuit. Once the nation's sharpest sleuth reporter, he pierced facades, trailing deceit like a shark scents chum. But his scorched earth tactics alienated the polished press, he flayed truths heedless of fallout. Crossing a media mogul ended him, sacked, credentials revoked, relegated to shadows with ghost-stricken gigs. Yet his bite endured. He'd bypass the obvious, boozy brawl, domestic spat. Samuel burrowed to origins. Victor Harlan's history. Dawn bore institutional brew and uplift, Sophia to a standard ward, alert. Miraculous, the doc deemed. I credited her grit, she'd battled wrongly too long. Inside, she faced the pain, voice a thread, Mom. I clasped her chilled fingers. Right here, love. Tears brimmed. Did Ethan reach out? Truth, he did. Sent blooms. What did he claim? Faint yearning lingered. Eyes locked, I overreacted per him. She averted, a lone tear tracing. In it, shattered illusions. The lake's bite had stripped her blinders. Afternoon call in the courtyard, unknown caller. Margaret Ellis. Samuel's rasp, sleepless, got dirt. No fluff. Dug archives, 2 decades back, same lake, separate craft. Harlan and associate, Lyle Grant. Outing turned fatal, only Harlan ashore. Said Grant, inebriated, slipped propeller strike. Tragic mishap. Chill deepened. Shut quick, too swift. Hunted the lead investigator, Sergeant Harlan Tate, pensioned, tending orchards in the hills. Resisted, but I pried. Pressured hard, bribe envelope, snapshot of his kid in grad school. He folded, confessed guilt's haunt. Harlan muscled the cover. Puzzle coalesced, vile yet inevitable. More, Grant's boy, then 8. Estranged. Now a welder in the industrial district. Loathes the man but hoarded relics, notes to kin predemise. Explicit, Harlan swindled shares. Planned whistleblow. Days later, accident. Eyes shut, my vague dreads near them, brushed off as fussiness, proved instinct, primal alert to predators prowling my child's orbit. No shock, merely crystalline vindication, like illumination revealing a minefield navigated blind. Next. Even keel. Leverage secured, Samuel affirmed. They see squabble, we're in endgame. Spot on. Beyond maternal wrath, this unearthed equity, drowned with Grant those years past. I was armed, evidenced. Post-call, bench-bound under one sun through skeletal bows, hands steadied. Purpose clarified. Days blurred in care, simmering teas on a hot plate, aiding her steps, reciting verses. Dialogue sparse, a nascent bond, wordless accord. She ceased their defense, quiet damned louder. Ethan's outreach ceased, siege tactic, awaiting her capitulation. He misread, rules shifted. His realm, self-crowned, ignored brewing storm. Peak on day 4, Victor in his cavernous study, mahogany and hide, desk pristine, fountain pen, ledger, arrays of devices. Perusing market scrolls on a flat screen, composed. Domestic hiccup. Ethan's mess, minor, quelled by dominance. Females yielded eventually. A secure line buzzed, no ID, for discreet dealings. Caller, an erstwhile ally, Counselor Hale, indebted via past favors. Hale, delight. To what pleasure? No warmth, curt frost. Victor, grave chat, face to face. Frown creased. Issue. Indeed. Visitor today, self-styled reporter, prosecutor vibe, relentless. Probed that antique matter, Lyle Grant. Boat mishap, payoffs, your rift eve of his end. New sealed intel, you, me, late Sergeant Tate. Domain shrank, breath shallowed. Tacit. Victor, hails edge steel, I buried it once. Not again, my stake higher. Quell it, excise my name forever. Clear? Disconnect. Victor sat, feeds gibberish. Palms, those that thrust Sophia under, slick damp. First tremor in ages. Brain, tuned to fiscal raids, corporate coups, grappled linkage, relic probe to in-law ire. Phoned Ethan, who slouched in, post-workout buzzed. Trouble? Victor scrutinized, not successor but liability. That Ellis woman, spilled. Menaced. Ethan smirked. Her. Whine to Sophia, cry foul. End of. Post-incident calls. Blank. Stood petrified, hollering ignored. Revelation seeped, venomous, the unassuming elder, her poised rebuff on pickup. Not grief, blueprint. Victor paced to overlook. Edifice of influence, dread, buckled. No mere feud, nor near-fatal prank. Echo of Grant's submergence. She'd unearthed the sepulchre, not solo, trigger pulled. Brother, he muttered. Samuel Ellis, hack scribe, forgotten ghost. Ethan blinked, scale lost, still fixated on spousal snag. Victor grasped, the pin he'd armed her with, clutched years, released lakeside. Snatched device, dialing encrypted roster, beneficiaries of his largesse, position holders. Voice fractured, once velvet command, beseeched, menaced, bargained. Suppression gears jammed. Responses, evasion, chill courtesy, dead lines. Allegiances frayed, yesterday's sycophants now ghosts. Ethan blanched amid chaos, witnessing patriarch unravel. Dread infiltrated, viscous, just ignited apocalypse, vast beyond ken. I sensed remotely, barometer to tempest. No triumph, merely dispassionate poise. Gears turned inexorably. Sophia rallied, upright, flushed. Chat light, she dozed soundly. I slipped out, shunning halls, recalling the basement nook, a neglected reading alcove, my 35-year vocation's echo. Order amid turmoil. Door creaked, archives. Dim, musty with aged vellum and neglect. Walls book-lined, central slab heaped with strays, misplaced tomes. I sorted instinctively, equilibrium's right. Dust-wiped spines, catalogued placements, Faulkner amid southern lit, beside O'Connor, vintage atlas to references high, suspense yarn to genre racks. Ritual soothed, meditative. No Vander, Harlan, thoughts, solely restoration. Chaos yielded, shelves aligned, harmony reborn. Counter to unleashed havoc. Phone chirped, Samuel. Book in hand, wedged call. He's cornered beast, he noted, glee predatory. Ringing frantic, bribes, scares, futile. Leaks spread, allies flee plague. Fine, slotting a poetry tome. Senses you, via me. Retaliation inbound, thugs likely. Forewarned. Known. Vigilant. Worry not, Sib, chuckle. I'm nomadic, ghost. You? Counsel soon, though futile. Parted. Next, fable anthology, vibrant ills. No qualms for him, his arena. Harlan's? Pawns checkmated, irrelevant. In this hushed vault, serenity absolute, realigning tomes mirrored life's recalibration, Sophia's sphere. Final volume shelved, exhaustion profound, soul-deep completion. Room serene, I sealed exit, re-emerged to clinical din. Across town, Victor's torment crested. Resources drained, pleas rebuffed. Despair bred folly, crude force. Summoned security chief, bruiser X-Merc, eyes deadpan. Location on Ellis Hack. Deliver message profound, amnesia total. Nod procedural. Probes yielded address, run-down complex fringe. Soon, unmarked vans idled, quartet in tactical gear ascended fetid stairs to penthouse flat. Dingy portal, relic buzzer. No reply, breach ordered. Burly one-shouldered, frame splintered thunderously. Rush in, void. Stale dust, relics untouched, faded rags, stale mail, withered fern. Long abandoned. Bait sprung, crude humiliation. Concurrent, Samuel in nondescript motel, screen aglow, blog draft. Header stark, submerged secrets, 2 decades of deceit at Mirror Lake. Body clinical, timelines, docs, grant epistles, Tate audio, rescuer account, orchid missive snap, lakeside assault recap. Bare facts, damning aggregate. Timed, as door caved, cursor hovered publish. Mailed to outlets, prosecutors, influencers. Breath held, clicked. Instant, device danced, press hound swarming. Tail didn't surface, detonated. Raid on empty flat. Proof of peril, elevating probe to felony. Viral blaze, sites, feeds, hashtags. Harlan from pillar to pariah, synonym for malice. Silencing bid fanned inferno, they witnessed pyre devour legacy. Samuel powered down, bagged gear, gazed at urban sprawl. Task fulfilled, truth voiced. And truth. Oft deadlier than invention. Weeks on, I surveyed the gutted parlor of what was Sophia's gilded cage, now barren, air thick with packing tape and farewell. Slanting rays through grimed panes traced motes in voids where rugs lay. Last crate sealed, label in her script, fragile, gentle. She perched sillside, knees drawn, watching thoroughfare's anonymity. Transformed inwardly, gaze shed servility, fear, gained contemplative depth. Matured moons in weeks. We packed wordlessly, intimate hush of kin. Gestures spoke, I swaddled her cherished teapot, she unearthed youth pick, us meadowlarking, lips curving soft. Not mere boxing, exorcism of past, salvaging treasures from rubble. Explosive fallout, inquiries launched, assault on Sophia, then grant revival via Tate's son. Victor, Ethan cuffed, visages ashen on broadcasts. Empire imploded, alliances severed, assets seized. We tuned out spectacle, our fray concluded at publish. Aftermath. Machinery's grind. Divorce her call, resolute, tearless. Ethan's penitence from cell, adorations rediscovered, shredded unread. Words hollow, Lake schooled in deeds. Crate done, chapter sealed. Sophia approached, scanning desolation. Next stop. Keys proffered, vintage, fobbed with tiny quill, her teen gift. Reclaimed our first nest, the flat by the archives hall. Recall. Eyes lit, astonishment to warmth. Cozy duo unit, aged stone, warped planks, lofty beams, her nook's vast sash to verdant square. Childhood haven, joy's cradle. Sold for their mortgage, regret chronic. Now reclaimed. Keys in her grasp, fixer-upper but bones solid, tails intact. Unfinished yarn awaits, let's pen closure. She gripped tight, authentic beam broke free, unfeigned. Yes, Mom. Overdue. Exit sans backward glance, door locked, spare abandoned. Stairs down, van and cab queued. I wheeled, she beside. City gilded in sunset, I drove unburdened. Freedom? Not retribution's thrill, nor validation. It rode shotgun, skyline mirroring in eyes. True liberty, her security, humble restart in archive-adjacent nook, where tales linger for rereading. Time stretched, lifetimes to unfold them. In quiet resolve, a parent's fierce devotion unearthed buried sins, toppling thrones not with clamor but cunning precision. Where divides vengeance from equity? Pardon from peril? Margaret forewent appeals to barren mercy, opting calculated strike, the sole retort to veiled monstrosity. Her verdict: yours to weigh.